Hello everyone, and welcome to the Digimon Ghost Game video. This time I'm going to be talking about episode 59 of Ghost Game, which is called Jiraiya, and I'm also be going over the upcoming episode Synopses that With the Will posted in the last week. So I'll go through these synopses at the end of this video, so if you aren't interested in hearing about upcoming episodes, you know when to tune out. But in terms of this week's episode, I'll talk about in the first chunk, as in now. So this week we had another Kiyoshiro episode that wasn't quite a Kiyoshiro episode, it was Kiyoshiro focused, by which I mean Kiyoshiro can't take a break and is once again kind of a little bit almost killed. He is chosen by Tonosama Gekomon, or rather he volunteers as some crime fighting assistant basically, which Tonosama Gekomon calls a Jiraiya. And it just so happens that Kiyoshiro and a fellow otaku friend of his, they are celebrating this Toku series that is in this in-universe series that they are both fans of. So Tonosama Gekomon's like, who is the real Jiraiya? There can only be one. Who will it be? And Kiyoshiro does something incredibly brave and courageous and volunteers himself as this in order to protect all the civilians. Now, this is a great character moment from him. He's previously been quite scared, and after he does volunteer, he does look like he regrets it a little bit, but he is happy that he was able to save these civilians from basically being taken by this rampaging Digimon. Of course, everyone in the audience thinks it's part of the stage show and kind of shrugs it off as such, but Kiyoshiro knows that it's a Digimon attack and volunteers himself to be this Jiraiya, which is incredibly courageous from the character who is usually pretty scared. So this is a true show of courage and bravery that this character has had, which makes Kiyoshiro so endearing to me. He is clearly scared about what's happening, but he is selfless enough to volunteer himself, even though he himself is actually terrified because he knows the severity and how serious this situation is that he is putting himself into. He just doesn't want any civilians to be tied into this. So Tonosama Gekomon takes him and puts him on his back, and basically Kiyoshiro begins to merge with Tonosama Gekomon and also sees the faces of many other people who Tonosama Gekomon has claimed have disappeared and run away because they weren't able to stand up to the task, but we later learn that this is just something that happens when a human is put on Tonosama Gekomon's back. And interestingly enough, we also see that while this is happening, the human on Tonosama Gekomon's back starts to, or basically does turn into a hologram ghost, which we previously haven't really seen humans be holograms. It's mainly been Digimon, so to see one of the main characters become a hologram is kind of horrifying, and combined with the fact that he's merging with Tonosama Gekomon. And then, by the end of the episode, he ends up completely merging with Tonosama Gekomon, and Gekomon needs to kind of magic it away. So there's that level of body horror. There's also the fact that Tonosama Gekomon is kind of like this vigilante crime fighter. So he's going around and stopping thieves who are stealing handbags or stealing belongings, and then basically turning them and shattering them into glass. Of course, this is fixed at the end of the episode, so nobody actually dies, which is kind of like a toss-up on Ghost Game. You kind of like flip a coin on whether the humans that are killed at the start of the episode will remain as such, or if this is just a temporary, oh, they just turned to glass. Last week we had the humans kind of burst into stone and become stone, but that was reversible. This week, humans are literally shattered into many, many pieces, and of course that's reversible too. However, earlier on in the series, we had a character basically spontaneously combust, but that was actually a forever death, a permadeath, not a something that can just be wound back at the end of the episode. So there is that I wish that Ghost Game committed to just having the random civilian death at the start to add that extra weight, but it doesn't matter too much. We do actually have that extra body horror, at least, where they are shattered into glass, and of course the body horror that I mentioned earlier about how they are basically becoming warts on Shogun Gekomon's back. And also, while I say Shogun Gekomon, yes, I do mean Tonosama Gekomon. However, because I'm Australian, I grew up on the English dub, so when I say a name, it's and it's from like one of the first series, I'm probably going to use the English name, so apologies if you are someone who didn't grow up on the English dub, or maybe you didn't watch in the original run and you only just saw the more recent stuff, but yes, I'm talking about Shogun Gekomon / Tonosama Gekomon. So, anyway, you basically become warts on this Tonosama Gekomon / Shogun Gekomon back, which is kind of gross. Tonosama Gekomon, in any case, is animated a lot differently than we've previously seen him. In the original adventure, he was kind of huge, like this giant, more or less temple or house-sized monster. And then in Adventure Colon, which was the adventure reboot that aired a few years ago, he's kind of smaller, but he's still quite sizable. And which is weird because Adventure Colon likes having all of the evolutions in Digimon a lot bigger than they were in the original form, but Tonosama Gekomon himself is actually smaller in Adventure Colon than he was in the original adventure. And now we have Ghost Game's Tonosama Gekomon, who is kind of, like, I guess, slightly taller than human adult. Like, let's say that the kids are all, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe just maybe like a bit taller than a meter, and then we might have Tonosama Gekomon who's maybe 2 meters or 2.5 meters in height. So, pretty tall, bigger than human still, but not as big as we've previously seen him. He's also animated a little bit more, like, grossly, I guess, or grotesquely. He's just got a lot of those warts on the back, which, yes, turn out to be the faces of the humans who he has merged with previously, but it's kind of gross. The way that he looks kind of monstrous in his face, and I really do like that. It makes him look a lot more monstrous than just this funny, jolly, giant frog that we've had in previous Digimon anime shows. So there is that. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, we have Gillis Gowmon making an appearance because Gowmon loses his temper. This feels a lot as a trigger for Gowmon evolving. This feels a lot less weighty than the previous times. He's not losing his temper because he just saw a friend die, or the fact that a hero's in danger, or, you know, he's you know, there's no other way, I have to evolve. He's just kind of lost his temper because Shogun Gekomon kind of threw him around a little bit. It is a little bit weird that we were fighting a perfect, but we didn't have either of our Digimon who could evolve to Mega in this episode. They just evolved to perfect, and then the time limit goes out, and then Gowmon kind of gets beaten up by Tonosama Gekomon. We don't really get much reason for Gowmon to evolve other than just, oh, he was just losing and that made him angry. Which, I guess, yeah, that's fine, he is a bit of a child, but it means that why does previous times when we've had him lose his temper, why didn't he evolve those times? And again, why didn't he just evolve to Mega? He can evolve to Mega. Why didn't Angoramon evolve to Mega? We know that he's able to evolve to Mega now. Unless they're adding an extra evolution requirement or an extra catalyst for them to reach Mega. They can't just reach Mega whenever they want like they have in previous Digimon shows. They have to, like, actually do something each time to activate Mega. So it feels like a little bit weird that we just got Gillis Gowmon. When Gillis Gowmon does show up, however, we get our obligatory Dark Digimon showing up. We have Dark Agumon and Dark Gargomon, and then at the end we have Dark Growlmon. Which is cool, we don't get any additional ones. We just have those three that we've previously seen in other appearances. And that's fine. I do like to see the Dark evolutions, but I kind of want them to tell me why they're there now, or at least do something or say something. Just not stand there, look menacingly. We got more of a shot than we have previously, I guess. We had all three of them rather than just one. So I'm guessing there are just those three and not any additional ones because we've just seen them all together now. We usually just see them separately. So there is that. And then Gillis Gowmon's kind of like asking Hiro to sync with him, which I'm guessing is a requirement for Gillis Gowmon to evolve to his perfect form. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen when Hiro eventually says, fine, sync with me, and then that's when that will happen, I'm guessing. But in this week's episode, that didn't happen because Hiro just said, look, we can rescue Kiyoshiro without me syncing with you. And then Gekomon just shows up and just says, yes, you're right, I have the power to remove all the humans from Tonosama Gekomon. Why he didn't do that earlier, I don't know. But then the characters are like, hey Gekomon, why don't you be the Jiraiya and fight crime with Tonosama Gekomon? And Tonosama Gekomon, you have to also bring back all the people you turned into shattered glass. But that's basically the episode. It's kind of cool. We've got a frog on a frog's back. That's kind of cute. We have kind of like a little bit of a step into mythology with the Jiraiya. That's kind of sweet. That's a nice touch. The animation's pretty good. But overall, this episode just felt like, yes, it's a nice poke of like, hey, look, it's Gulas Galmon, and hey, look, it's the Dark Digimon. But it doesn't really give us anything more than what we previously had. And the other times we had Gulas Galmon, I honestly thought that Hiro was going to say just like, yes, I will merge with you, or I will sync with you rather. But I'm guessing that we're kind of just leading towards that happening in an upcoming episode. So that's fine, we're building towards that. We're having Hiro's refusing to sync with him, and then I guess next time he shows up, he'll accept it, because I can't see there being much more to this show in terms of months of it airing. So there is that. But overall, it was a fine episode. It is nice to see Gulas Galmon again, but I kind of wish it just meant more. But overall, this episode was fun. Kiyoshiro had a great character moment where he was brave, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more of these Dark Digimon. However, I'm really hoping that Kiyoshiro stops like dying, like 100% dying, or just almost dying in a lot of the episodes. Like, he's died like once or twice, which, you know, is a lot for Digimon. Digimon shows kind of don't really necessarily like killing the main characters too much. Or if they do, it's like, temporarily, like, he fell down the stairs, he is isekai'd into the digital world, he's actually in hospital, come home and break into an emergency ward in a hospital and just cry on him super hard, and then he comes back to life. So Digimon's kind of not really big into killing them and does bring them back, but I feel like they're definitely pushing it with Kiyoshiro. They're definitely going from like, okay, we're just gonna actually kill him, and we will bring him back, but only because we want to kill him again. And that's kind of like, that's a new thing for Digimon, and that's something I like about Digimon, is each show does try to like be something more and be something different. And Ghost Game is definitely pushing the boundaries of what Digimon has been previously, and I do like that. I do like Digimon. Surprise, surprise! But in any case, those are my thoughts on this week's episode, so let's look at these synopses for the upcoming couple of episodes, or 3 episodes, I guess. Of course, if you're not interested in this, mute this video, or watch one of my other videos, because I talk about Digimon a lot, and if you're enjoying this, me talking about Digimon, you'll probably enjoy my other videos where I also, you guessed it, talked about Digimon. So yes, let's look at these synopses that With the Will has posted. So they do have episode 59, which I'm not going to read because that was this week's episode. We know what happened. We were there. We've talked about it. Episode 60, so next week's episode is called Water Ghost, and Hiro and Co visit a seaside town where they come across strange rain, as you do. When people are drenched by this rain, they drown and their bodies stiffen. Oh, woo. Vomiting up water from their mouth and eyes. Ah, gross. The rain was digital water created by a group of Hangyoumon, so that is the Japanese name of Divamon. The city is soon submerged in digital water, and Hiro and Co take refuge in a park on high ground. That's where they find about the mummy-like object that was discovered 2 weeks ago. Horrifying. And they go to a shrine where it is propped in. The mummy-like object turns out to be Cathylamon, who I believe is Cthulhu's daughter. So that's kind of cool. And Cathyla, being Cthulhu's daughter, may be related to, I guess, Dagomon, being the Digimon version of Cthulhu, as far as I'm aware. However, this is an entirely new Digimon, and it makes me sad because we have Jellymon's roster for the B memory, and we have this unknown Digimon who I thought might be Marine Angemon Blast Mode because it looks like Marine Angemon, but it doesn't have the star to denote that it has been on a previous BE memory or dim card, and Marine Angemon has. And also the silhouette sprite of this Digimon was slightly different. So yeah, I was really hoping it was going to be Marine Angemon Blast Mode, as I mentioned in my video on Blast Mode in the last week or so. I think I uploaded it. So I'm guessing that's not the case. It is probably just an evil variant of a color change, I guess, of Marine Angemon. So I don't know, like a grey Marine Angemon with a Dagomon face, like half Dagomon, half Marine Angemon, I guess. But that's what I'm thinking anyway. I'm assuming it's that because I'm assuming this is also a Jellymon episode, maybe a Jellymon evolution episode, and we do have Cathylamon, or this unknown Marine Angemon, being on the BE memory. So I'm going to assume that it will be get it? It will be on this will be a Jellymon evolution episode, in the same way that Kazuamon was in the Cirrusmon evolution episode and is also on the Gamamon BE memory. So that's pretty cool. So then we have, it's Cathylamon. Their body derived up from being on land, absorbing the digital water, revives Cathylamon, and it renders Hiro and Ruli powerless, stiffening their bodies and making them vomit water before joining up with the Hangyomon minions. Cathylamon makes it their mission to have all humans over the world vomit water, gross, and dives into the digital water sea. Kiyoshiro and Thetismon go in pursuit, but Cathylamon's attacks put them in near-mortal peril. Just then, Kiyoshiro and Thetismon will synchronize. Yep, so it's an evolution episode. So we have, I guess, Ambimon coming up and hanging out, and I'm really excited to see what Cathylamon looks like, because this is an entirely new Digimon. And as far as I'm aware, this will be the first new Digimon of 2023. So I guess come back in December when I do my rating of all the 2023 Digimon, and I really hope that I like this design. I hope that it's a little bit more than just a slight colour change of Marine Angemon. I hope it's not just like grey Marine Angemon. I'm hoping that it's like, I don't know, mummified Marine Angemon. I'm hoping that it's something more than just anything that I've described. I hope that looks like there's some thought into it. I hope, but again, we haven't seen it yet, so check back in a week for me being mad, I guess. But probably not. I'm a fairly easy person. I see Digimon and I like it. I'm simple. So yeah, that's January 22nd. Then we have January 29th episode 61, Revival. Ruli's friend, Kotaha, asks to meet her for some advice. So she goes with Hiro and Kiyoshiro to visit her. They find a woman's dead body, whoa, lying in the bed of Kotaha's older brother's room. Woman's name is Manami, and she is Kotaha's brother's fiancée who passed away from an accident a few days ago. Ruli and Co are horrified. Well, I would be just horrified to see a dead body, honestly. I don't know why they wouldn't just be horrified in that alone. So they are horrified to learn that the brother brought Manami's body back. Oh no, okay, you got me. I should finish reading sentences before I react. No, that would be a horrifying thing to learn, that the brother brought back the body without telling anyone. And that the body moves around its own at night. Now that's also pretty scary. What's more, ever since her brother brought Manami back, strange things keep happening inside the house. I don't know, the dead body, definitely I consider rather strange in general. Ruli and Co decide to stay at the house and determine the cause, but they get caught up in a series of strange incidents. Yeah, that one's... looking forward to that one. That one sounds horrifying. So that's pretty hype. Then the next episode is on February 5th, episode 62, Phantom Floor. Ruli's best friend, Aoi, lives in a high-rise apartment building where weird things are said to be happening, because of course they are, because it's Ghost Game, and that's kind of the thing. Residents are scared and begin to move out, while the building is called Fear Condo on the internet. The friend asks Ruli to investigate, and when they arrive at the apartment building and go on the elevator, they hear a suspicious sound of a lock clicking, and the elevator stops at the 13.5th floor, as you do. They're terrified, saying there is no such floor. Well, yep, that's a reasonable response. When the doors open, they find themselves in a strange place they've never seen before. So that sounds interesting. Sounds kind of like a spooky haunted house kind of episode. But what I'm reading from here is we've got one Kiyoshiro episode, so 2 including this week's, and then we've got 2 Ruli episodes, and then I'm wondering if the next set of the next 4 episodes after this that we don't have the synopses for are going to be wrapping up the show. That's the impression I get, especially because we get the final mega form in episode 60, which final as in out of the 3. Then we can get on to the rest of Gaomon's evolutions and getting Goulasgaomon to perfect, and then onwards to Mega and then Ultra. So I guess maybe after this 8 more episodes tops. So that would see us in March or April, I guess, wrapping up, which isn't too far, but it's still got a chunk of episodes, and that's fine because I am really enjoying Ghost Game. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this week's episode, and of course, a bit of predictions about these upcoming episodes. Super hyped to see Cathylamon. Hope she looks cool. And yeah, so those are my thoughts. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like this video for, I don't know, Cathylamon debuting, or this sick shirt with Airdramon that little Siri sent to me a little bit ago. It's super sick. And yeah, so subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm still trying to get to 13,000 subscribers. And of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!